talking about it. I think I caught it for fourth hour. It was saying that AB is parallel to EC. Well, that just means there's supposed to be an A here. It just got cut off. Okay, that's all. I'm sure you guys probably figured that out, I hope, at that point as you're going through there. Just so you know, Elijah, I'm not collecting this. So you don't have to copy all of our homework down because it doesn't bother me. But it's the fact that you don't do it, just kind of shooting yourself in the foot. So don't worry about copying it. You might as well just write down what I'm doing. Thank you. So you're given the fact that you've got sets of parallel lines. So we go and mark them. You have two sets, and we've seen this before. You've got them going left and right, and you've got them going vertical. Okay? Now from there, knowing that you have parallel lines, take out your stuff, please. Knowing that you've got your parallel lines and you're going through this, what you want to be able to do is identify where you have to get to. It's asking you to figure out some way to show that 7 and 4 are congruent. Now, with angle proofs, I think I've mentioned this with some of you guys that were coming through with flex and all that. Angle proofs are very easy to look at, working yourself backwards. So if you start by looking at, I have to get 7 and 4 the same. Well, if I've got to do that, what should I do about 4 to something on the line of that line BC? What can I say 4 is congruent to? 4 is congruent to 5, correct. So I know 4 is congruent to 5 because two parallel lines cut by transversal, alternate interior. And now, what is 5 and 7 in relationship? Corresponding. So by looking at it going backwards, you're going to say, hey, I've got corresponding angles between 7 and 5. I've got alternate interior between 5 and 4. Substitution, I'm done. It's that fast. So you start. Given AB parallel EC. BC parallel EF. Some of you guys have been asking, can you put it on the same line? Absolutely, no big deal. This is just a very non-descriptive way of going about it. Okay. Now just go through what you just argued in your own head. 7 and 5 are congruent because of they're corresponding. So our symbol, if two parallel lines cut by a transversal have to have arrows, corresponding angles, congruent. And then you just switch to the next line. The next line says, we've already marked it, 5 and 4 are congruent because alternate interior. So we write it. Same thing. I get that. Huh? Yes, ma'am.
There's many ways to do this.
Yes, ma'am. There are a ton of ways to go about this.
But you guys see, because we have to prove something with angle 7 and 4, do you see how we're making a statement about angle 7, and we're making a statement about angle 4, and then I kind of recognize the diagonal there, don't I?
You too.
Okay.
What's the reason?
Anyone else see it?
It's transit. This is your diagonal. Remember? A equals B, B equals C. A equals C. Oops, I almost wrote C. And there's your transit. Now, I know that people who are writing it, I've seen a couple people do this same basic thing, but instead of writing 7 and 5, then they went 4 and 5. And then their step would have been substitution at the end. It's just all about how you presented it. How did you write out your angles in the first place? Did you write 5 and 7, and then did you write 4 and 5? You know, the way that I wrote it, my last step had to be transitive. If you wrote it by flip-flopping some of the angles around, still doing the same thing, your final step should have been substitution. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. That works. What Jessica did is she worked with the 4 and 5 first. She went 4 is 5, 5 is 7. Done. Works the same way. She just worked backwards because you could. Got it. Gee, this next one is almost the same problem, except you have to prove the lines are parallel. So yesterday we had, where was it? Is it this one? Let me find the little square here. I think I got lost here. This is where this statement's going to come into play from yesterday. Yesterday we put that in the square. We said that if we were able to find that alternate interior were congruent, alternate exterior congruent, consecutive or supplementary or corresponding were congruent, then we could have said that lines were parallel. Well, in these last three problems, they're asking you to show that the lines are parallel. Where's your sheet? No, this isn't your sheet. Where's your stuff? They're asking you to show that the lines themselves are parallel. So this is probably what you're going to have to use when you're done. Okay? So keep that in the back of your mind. You're given G is parallel to H. Mark it. So what can you tell me about 1 and 3? They're congruent. Why are they congruent? Same spot, same side. What's the angle pair? Corresponding. So I can say that right away I'm looking at this, that angle 1 congruent to angle 3. Parallel lines cut by a transversal. Corresponding angles. Congruent. All right, we also know that angle 1 is congruent to angle 2 because it's given. 1 equals 3, 1 equals 2. What do you say? What is it? Substitution. 3 is 2. Very good, very good. What do you got?
Then we're gonna put both givens together.
Yeah, if you guys put both givens together, it's perfectly fine also. Yeah. What's the angle relationship between 3 and 2 then? Which one is it? Very good, sir. Very good. So now we have alternate exterior angles. Are those alternate exterior angles congruent? Yeah. So the lines are parallel. So all you have to do now is this. P is parallel to R because alternate exterior angles congruent, lines parallel. That's how that works from that progression. It goes right off of that. Could you at least be on the right problem that I'm doing? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and that's what I was saying. I just saw that when I wrote this down and I marked it, I saw, hey, 1 and 3 are corresponding. I just wanted to write that down right away. That's all. You can put it in tables, stop the order. It's fine. It's perfectly fine. Hey guys, this comes up quite often with ones like these. The only reason that I threw this step here with the corresponding angles is because when I knew that my lines were parallel, I marked my diagram and I just saw the 1 and 3 right away. Oh look, 1 and 3, those are the same because they're corresponding. Let's write that down before I forget. That's the only reason why I put that on there, okay? I could have written my given and then gone back. It's okay. So if you put your given, then corresponding, you're fine. It's all right. We all got there. Okay? Am I okay in believing that these aren't really all that terrible, are they?
Oh, Joe. It takes forever to do. Besides, it's only your fault.
Hey, look. This is basically the same thing.
Yeah.
What changed?
The late letter.
Yeah, pretty much. This is basically the exact same proof, but yet you're going to change your angle pair relationships. You are still going to be trying to show that the two other sets of lines are parallel to one another, which means we have to find some angle pair that's going to be congruent and work our way out of it. So, N parallel N.
I just had that right, see?
And then, Mr. Murphy, did you move angle number 3? Because it was crossed out on this sheet here.
Was it?
But on your sheet, you actually crossed out 3 and you put it in the, it would be in the corresponding spot to angle 2.
I did. I didn't realize it. Oh, you know why? I got that on the internet. Did you think that was? Oh, I'm sorry. Did you think that was my handwriting?
Way to go.
Hey guys, one quick thing. As you may or may not know, teachers don't make up every worksheet that you ever
I
find.
know, that's
Oh,
what
yeah,
we're
I
doing.
know.
Yeah, we know
Oh,
that.
yeah. That's why we-
Don't tell them the secret.
I'm not gonna lie. Seriously? No.
You know what? You're done.
There's a window right behind you.
I will tell you one thing. Back in my day, when the Google first came out, we were I was in when we were in college. We first started realizing that a lot of our theoretical proofs that we had to do in upper level algebra, upper level calculus that we had to do for homework all the time, if we started to type in the beginnings of the proof and hit enter in Google, guess what you found a lot of times? The proof in Google. So it didn't. But remember, if it's a lot of those things are homework stuff. It doesn't mean the fact that you're going to be able to Google something while you're taking your test. But what helped us out a lot, because theoretical calculus is, let me just tell you, it's the greatest class ever. Said no
I
one.
could not sense the sarcasm.
No one. So we use that a lot for our homework to make sure that we were doing our stuff right. Yeah, you're right. We beg, borrow, and steal stuff offline all the time because that's the easiest way to find stuff. Because I knew that we were doing parallel line proofs, and I know that our book doesn't have a lot of them. And I know personally that I never thought that they were very difficult. And I'm hoping that you guys are seeing that these are very accessible, very straightforward proofs. And I just wanted to Google it. So that's why I got them, and that's where I got the answer key. And you're right, you can find all of it online.
Mr. Murphy,
Yeah, Whiskey.
I completely disagree with you.
Thank you, Whiskey. So, in this case here, I will do what most of you guys probably did. You probably wrote down your second given. I'll do it this way this time. So I have 1 and 2. Well, in order to show that those lines are parallel about P and R, I have to get something with the 2 and 3. If I look at 2 and 3, 2 and 3 are going to wind up being alternate interior angles, correct? But in order for us to be congruent, I have to say that 3 winds up being congruent to 1. Well, if you look at until your head sideways, here's my 2 parallel lines that were given to us. Here's that transversal. So if I look at 1 and 3, what's the relationship on 1 and 3?
They're congruent.
Alternate interior. So I can say that 1 and 3 are congruent because parallel lines cut by a transversal. Alternate interior angles congruent.
It's not even that hard.
So 1 is 2, 1 is 3. What do we know about 2 and 3? Substitution again.
It's not one, it's just word one.
Shh, guys.
Sorry.
And then the last one, P is parallel to R because now we have congruent alternate interior angles. So alternate interior angles congruent, lines parallel. Yes, sir.
Oh wait, you have 1 is 2. Whiskey, if you were a part of my family,
Yeah, no, because 1 and 2 can't be corresponding angles because they're on two different transversals there. They have to have the same side.
You gotta make this an
So you have to go like 1 and
You can
3.
dance and do some crazy things.
Remember how you went backwards on the other one? That's always the best one. Not terrible, right?
Well, happy early birthday. I'll yell that out loud. Hey, Mr. Murphy, on
Yes, sir.
Saturday it's Whiskey's birthday.
Well, happy birthday on Saturday,
No,
Whiskey.
it's not. No, it's not.
I can look it up, so it doesn't, if you say it's not.
It's not.
Not a big deal. And let's get this last one in here because I want to talk a little bit about tomorrow and a little bit about algebra that we haven't done yet.
Get some birthday beans. I get what actually cares. It's all my birthday.
Yes, ma'am.
Actually, my mom gave me some birthday
For this one?
beans.
I got you. Let's see. Excuse me.
What are you doing, 16?
In this one here,
Until you're 27.
think about some of the other proofs that we've done lately that had given to you supplementary. What trick did we use that shortcutted a lot of supplementary the other day? Not so much linear pairs, but what was the other trick that we did that shortened everything up? We put it in a square the other day.
That's your hand.
Yes, sir.
It wasn't like the definition of equals supplementary.
Yeah, the congruent supplements. So remember the shortcut trick we did the other day about congruent supplements? If two angles were congruent to this, or it's not congruent, excuse me. If two angles are supplementary to the same angle, those two angles have to be congruent. That was a shortcut way for us to show that supplementary exists. So if we look at this, we have G is parallel to H. So G and H are parallel. When I look at that right away, I have a transversal here at P. And I have three angles labeled out, 1, 2, and 3. Which set of those are congruent? 1 and 3. I'm sorry, not 1 and 3, excuse me, 1 and 2. Why are 1 and 2 congruent? Alternate interior. 1 and 2 are congruent. So I'm going to do this first. Angle 1 is congruent to angle 3. Parallel lines cut by a transversal. No, somebody didn't reset it from last week.
We have a half day next week.
Give it a second. Coach B will be on here. Pay no attention to the bells. I don't know if he'll give the part. He goes, he'll use disregard. So you got 1 and, did I write 1 and 3? I meant 1 and 2.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
I was looking, I'm like.
I was thinking of it because the last two problems we've done were 1 and 3. So I got in a rut. Yeah. Now, angle 1 and angle 4 are supplementary. So angle 1 and angle 2 are the same, right? Which means I can replace angle 2 with angle 1 anywhere I want. When you replace something, what do you use? Substitution. Actually, I didn't even need to use congruent supplements here. Because what's the angle pair relationship between 2 and 4?
Consecutive.
The consecutive interior. So now that we have consecutive interior, then I can say the lines are parallel. And that's how these are going to work. They're so straightforward. Okay? So straightforward. So I've done 4 of them. Have you written any of them down? Dude, it's 8:15. It's you've been here 30 minutes and you haven't asked anybody or myself or anything. Really? Somebody around you might have. Awesome. So the last little bit of stuff that can be on for what we're looking at in our testing that we have not looked at. It's actually really, really simple. Remember how we did that section 3.2 where you identify the angle pair relationship and you marked up your diagram whether or not they're going to be equal or supplementary? Well, we can do the exact same thing by asking you the following question. Or did you have a question on this one at all, or where are you?
So, do you have to state the 1 and 2?
What?
Because does that build to the 2 and 4?
It does build to it. What did you use?
Because she went right from the 1 and 4 supplementary being given to that 2 and 4 are also supplementary.
Then you can
because
just,
they're-
yeah, yes, you
Is
can do
that
that.
okay? We
Yep.
don't need to do the 1 and 2?
Yeah,
Okay.
you can do. Well, wait. You don't know
I'm
that.
sorry, yeah, no, she went, oh, yeah. Yeah, she didn't do the 1 and 2. She went right to the.
You went 1 and 4.
1 and 4 are supplementary because that was given, and then she went to 2 and 4 are supplementary.
You can't assume that because we don't know the lines of parallel.
So you have to go from 1
Yeah.
and 2.
We don't know because then that would have had to have been P and R to be parallel for those two to be supplementary. We don't know. Bless you. We don't know if they're parallel yet.
I almost had to catch myself.
So you've got to prove that. The only reason.
Really? They still haven't turned it off yet? Let me show you this guy.
What if it was a half day and you didn't know?
So, well, they're proving it, but here's
We don't have school on Monday.
One last little bit of note stuff in this
We don't have school on
whole conglomerate of things
Monday. We do not have school.
is
3 day week.
this question.
Just say go to school. Wake up early, reflect it.
Ladies and gentlemen, the last little bit that I have for you on these things, right, kind of give you some extra ones to look, like, review ones to look at, is the following. Guys, the only thing that we have not done is the fact that it says, find a value of x that makes the lines parallel, which basically means
Sorry, established students, please disregard the vowels. We will get them fixed as soon as possible.
anyway, so it said find the value of x that makes them parallel. Well, you still have to go through the same basic process of identifying what angle pair relationship should occur in order to make it work. Well, these guys would be same side inside, so what angle pair relationship is same side inside? Consecutive. Consecutive interior angles have to do what? Are they congruent or are they supplementary? Supplementary. So in order to find the value of x that makes these two lines parallel, I'd have to go x plus 2x is 180. Good. That's what you're looking at doing. You're not being told that they're parallel. You're trying to figure out what value makes them parallel. If those are parallel, then x has to be 60, because one angle is 60, the other would be 120, therefore they're consecutive interior or supplementary, and blah, 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 m is parallel to n. It's just working itself backwards. Yes, ma'am?
Is it okay if I write this on here?
If you want. I mean, yeah, I mean, it's not the, I don't think
Since
that,
I'm gonna be using.
okay? This really isn't anything that you wouldn't have been able to figure out, to be honest with you. We just haven't done a problem like that. Okay? We'll show you another one.
So this man definitely
Guys, Again, it's the idea of, can you identify which angle pair relationship has to occur in order to make them parallel?
So you take 5x plus 23 plus 7x plus 13 plus 180.
Careful. They'd have to equal each other because how are they setting up?
Oh, two different lines.
Yeah. Now, remember how we did this last week where we went and did that all the time? If they line up, they're equal. If they don't line up, if they have one of each, like a tick mark and a non-tick mark, they'd have to be supplementary. It's basically the same idea. You're just trying to figure out what makes them parallel. That's how it's just worded. That's all.
Also,
Okay. So you get 5x plus 23 is 7x plus 13. Move some stuff around real quick. You
minus
should
13
get
on each side minus 5x on each side.
So that will be,
Divided by
so
2.
divide by 2, that will give you x equals 5. And you just plug that back in.
Where are you doing electrical work?
And
It's called substitution.
no, I'm not supposed to layer.
So when you have, and just like Austin was saying, I'm just harassing them like I normally do. When you find your value of x, you know that those are corresponding angles. You know that they should be congruent to one another. Yes, take 2 seconds and substitute back in and see if it works. So what's 5 times 5?
5 times 5 is 25.
25 and 23 is how much?
We'll give you 48. So now you plug into the second one. And 7 times
35 and
will give you
15.
35 plus 13 would equal
48.
So we didn't done goof. Okay?
It's nice to be able to check your work before the teacher does.
It does, right? It does. So test-wise then tomorrow, guys, basically you're looking at this. You've got,
Today's Thursday.
yeah, I know, right?
What the? Oh my god, this school year is going to be bad.
No, I think it's going way.
How was today?
I'll get you some. Like this weekend. I have one. I don't know. I have been playing for a second there. There's 3 and 4. This is solid. AFC solid. They're only 1 game out of first place.
Now, yes, there's a bunch of stuff, right? What I want you guys to reference here, is that the segment and angle stuff that we've been doing since we first started doing proofs, those are like your midpoints, angle bisector, things like that, things that we've done quizzes on, things that we've done plenty of work on. You have every single bit of information we've ever done on that. You have progression sheets. Am I taking those away from you? No. You got them. So my suggestion is to go back and look at those 4-proof worksheet, the 4-proof quiz, fill in the blank. Look at those things because we went over all of those. Re-reference them, re-walk through them on your own. Whiskey.
We're allowed to use them for the test.
Your progression sheet, yes. Okay. The parallel line proof stuff. That's basically what we've been doing for the past 2 days. Those 11 questions that are on that worksheet that I've done every one of them for you. You should be able to go back and reference and follow through the chart of why things occurred and going on. The algebra stuff. The algebra stuff is when you have your 2 parallel lines cut by transversal, which angle pair relationship happens. Are they equal or are they supplementary? You should be able to fly right through that as well because last time I checked on your progression sheet, you have an example. What are alternate interior? What are alternate exterior? You know what they are because it's right there for you. You have a really nice hand. You're welcome. So when you go through this, I believe that the test when I finish it out, it's a couple. I think it's 3 fill in the blank, 2 on your own, and then some algebra problems. All right. The stuff that you have it really isn't anything that's going to scare you, really. It is all extraordinarily straightforward, okay? It should take a period, shouldn't be that bad, but make sure you have a calculator for your algebra. Make sure you have your progression sheet, your reason bank if you want to have that as well. I don't know if it's really secret either, but it doesn't hurt any. Stuff that I would probably look at then. Where's my book? In the book, they have a pretty decent review sections here. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to think if it had it. I think we're good with, because I'm mixing it between 2 and 3. So if you want to look at good algebra problems to review, so this is chapter 3, page 203.
Did the Celtics play last night? Did the Celtics play last night? They won? PSG? I think they played the Hornets.
Those are good algebra problems.
They played the Bucks.
To be honest with you guys, you guys have done every proof that I have for all of this, really.
So it would behoove you maybe to go over all those proofs tonight.
Yeah, it'd be a good idea to go back and look at your proofs that you have. I mean, it wouldn't, those are really good algebra stuff, and you probably have 20 to 30 different proofs just to look at. I mean, I'd look at your different proofs that you have, because every one of them is eerily similar to all the rest of them. There's not much variance to the proofs that we do. Okay? They're very, very methodical, very straightforward. There's no gotcha moment, I believe. So, yeah.
Got him.
So, when you're looking at Kelly.
So next chapter, are we done with proofs?
No. Do you guys agree that the parallel line transversal ones are relatively easy? Am I wrong in assuming that you guys feel better with those than you did with segments and angles?
No.
Well, what happens next is that we start dealing with triangles. And triangles, they kind of mirror along the same ideas that you're going to use little bits of information here and there. Triangle proofs are, they're no more than 6-7 steps. There's a reason to get to a spot, and once you know where you have to make it look like, it's very easy to do. This is like the hardest part of first semester, the segment angles parts. The rest of it, you're still using it, but the more since we've used it longer and longer, it gets to become easier and easier. Okay, so we will work with triangles starting on Monday. I believe we will be done with triangle stuff. Oh man, November. There's like no school in November, so it might be the first week of December. Then we'll probably be done with proofs.
Wow, so it's
Pretty close.
I'm gonna mark that on my calendar.
Yeah, we're pretty close to being done with proofs. So then we get back to
But then we have them on the final.
Mr. Murphy,
Yeah,
can we take our first semester final before slide?